Hey friends, Sarah here with Boho Stitchery. Today's Tuesday. You know what that means. Tutorial Tuesday.
Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Sarah here. So today I have a fun video in store for you. If you remember last week for Tutorial Tuesday, I taught you guys how to make the traditional granny square. Today I have a fun technique to show you. It is the join as you go method, so that you don't have to sew or hand sew or stitch your granny squares together one at a time if you don't want to. Some people like to. So I have got these 4 squares laid out. I'm just using them for demonstration purposes. And I've got some of this hot pink yarn. I actually used this on Monday for my Monday Make and Knit Monday video. So if you want to learn how to knit or you like knitting also, please be sure to check that out on Mondays. So say this is our blanket. Obviously this is way too small to be any kind of blanket, but for demonstration purposes, this is what we got. So we got our blanket, we got our squares, we need to join them together. Do I really want to sew them together? Not today. So to do this, we are going to start our join as you go method. Typically a join as you go method, you would have obviously you'd have more rows this way, or blocks rather, this way and that way. But for this one, we're going to start up here, somewhere around the middle. You can really start anywhere, but I like to start generally in the middle of the top right. We are going to do the same stitch. It's the granny stripe stitch. We're going to go all the way up here, do our corner, come down, come around, and then we're going to pick up this square down here. So let's get started. I am going to go ahead and pop my hook in here, just kind of in the middle anywhere, and one of the chains or in the gaps in between our clusters. Whoop, this is hard to do on camera. So not really too concerned with that, because if I was making a blanket, obviously I would weave it in later. But for time's sake, we're just going to tie a knot and go at it. Oh my goodness. And it would help if my yarn wouldn't split. Okay. So we're just going to start our granny stitch, if my hands here will cooperate with me. So we're going to go ahead and just continue down. You guys know this pattern by now if you've went and watched that video. If not, I would recommend you going back and watching that granny square video if you want to learn how to make granny squares. So I'm going to continue this all the way until I get down to the bottom of this right hand corner. I'll go ahead and pause the camera and do that off camera, and I'll be right back with you guys. Okay guys, I am back. I just wanted to get all that done off camera so you didn't have to sit there and watch me do my edging. So again, I started up here with my cluster, went around, did my cluster, chain 2 cluster in the corner, all the way down here, did another cluster, chain 2 cluster, and now I'm back down here at the bottom right of my top right square. Say that 10 times fast. And I'm ready to join with the square below it. So the pattern that you go in is you join up here, you go down and in between, and now we're going to pick it up on this square and do the same thing we did here on that side. So let me try and zoom in so you guys can see this a little better. See if I can do this while looking through the lens instead of on my hands. So to join, I don't typically do a chain 1. What I do is I jump right in and join with a single crochet, and then I like to do a stacked crochet. Here lately I've been doing that more. I don't know, I just feel like it gives it a sturdier start. So I do this slip stitch, I do a stacked single crochet there. Okay, and so that'll count as my first double crochet of my cluster. So I'm just going to pop 2 more double crochets into this corner. Like I said, this is not easy to do when you're trying to look through a lens and not your hands. Okay, oh my goodness here. Okay, so we've got that joined. Now we need to slip stitch back. So you're doing your cluster, slip stitching, cluster, slip stitching. So we're going to go back to the square up here, and in the space in between our clusters, from top to bottom, I pop my hook in there, and then I grab it and pull through, and I do a slip stitch, and that joins it together. Now we're going to jump back down here to the square we're joining. So we go to our next space here in between our clusters, and just jump right in and start doing your 3 double crochets or your cluster, however you want to call it. And sometimes I actually find it easier if I turn it this way. I don't know why, but it just makes it easier to join them. So we're going to go back to the right square and find that space in between our clusters, and again do a slip stitch. So pop your needle in there, grab it from the back, pull it through, and just do a slip stitch. And then go back to the left square and do your cluster. So you're just going to alternate that between doing your clusters and joining with the slip stitch from your square. So just stick it in there, join with a slip stitch. I'll go ahead and finish this out to the corner so I can show you guys how to join at the corners, because they're a little different too. And we're at our corner, so we're going to do our first cluster. Okay, now we're ready to join at our corner, and it really does look like you've gone off center somewhere because it's like this, but I promise you're on the right track. So we're going to join in our corner, our chain 2 space. We're just going to stick our needle in there, or our hook, not our needle, rather. Got my mind on knitting, I guess. And join with the slip stitch, and now I'm going to do my other half of my corner, which is another set of 3 double crochets. So normally with our double crochets we do a chain 2 in the corners, so chain 1 or chain 2, however you prefer. When you're joining, I just do a slip stitch, but if you feel like it needs an extra chain or something, you can throw an extra chain in there after you slip stitch. It's really up to you. Okay, so let me zoom back out here. Whoops, trying to knock my tripod over. So we started up here, we've jumped down here, we've joined here, we're going to go back down. I'm going to work all the way down to the bottom of the left hand corner, and I'll meet up with you guys in just a moment. Okay guys, I'm back. So we've got the first row done. We're working from top to bottom, and you want to start on the right hand side of your blanket, however many squares you have. So top right, we started up here in the middle, we went down, and you're basically weaving in and out in between each square. So if we had, say, another square down here, we would do the same thing we did up here, where we go to this corner and then join again and go down. But for demonstration purposes, like I said, we're just going to do 4 blocks here. So now when you get down to the end of your first strip, you're just going to do the first half of your corner. So all you're going to do is the 3 double crochet here. It's kind of too close. So then we need to join our next row. So we've gone in and out and in and out and in and out down to the corner. You do half the corner. Now we need to join this way. So I need to attach it here and do the same thing I did up here over here, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead and do that. So like I said, you only do half of your corner, and I'll explain more why here in just a little bit. But we're going to pop our hook in here. Like I said, I like to do a stacked single crochet as my first double crochet. I just think it looks more like a real double crochet than just a chain 2 or 3, but you can certainly do that if you're more comfortable doing that. Okay, so I did this first half of my corner. Now I need to join with a slip stitch back up here like we did over here. Same thing. Slip, and then now we're going to find our next gap, and we're going to throw our next cluster of 3 double crochets in there. So cluster, and then you go back up to the next one and slip stitch. So go ahead and continue that until you guys get to the corner, and I'll be right back with you. Okay guys, so I am just at the corner here, so I'm going to go ahead and do my cluster. And when you're joining up the sides, whoops. So here's our project. It's sitting like this. When you're joining up the sides, you're not exactly doing the same thing like you did here in and out. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to join all your squares on the next row just straight up. We're not even going to mess with the center part yet. So let me show you what I mean. So we've joined here, we did all that. Now we need to join in the corner. Now I want to show you guys a little trick I do. See, remember how we've always kind of just done slip stitches to join? When I join in the corner, so see where my finger's poking out there? Same thing, I'm going to go in and pull up a loop, but I like to do a single crochet in the corner instead of just a slip stitch. I feel like because you're joining 3 basically in one spot, it needs that extra support in the corners because you've got so much joined in one spot. So I like to do a single crochet just in the corners there. And so now, let me zoom out here. Sorry, I'm trying to record this on my phone and it's not very big. So now we're ready to join our next square. So if I was looking at it like this, gone up here, down this way, over and down, and now we're joining back up. We're ready to join this square and we're going to continue up this way. So we're going to stick our hook in there and again join with a single crochet or slip stitch sort of. And then we're going to do a stacked single crochet to start with, or you can just do a chain 2 or 3. So whatever you guys like, it's your blanket. And then we're going to do 2 more double crochets because that stacked single crochet counts. Okay, and now we're ready to join to the square up here. Like I said, you can do it however you want. I think turning it like this, sometimes it helps. You kind of have to shift it as you're joining it. So we're going to slip stitch in here. So if we turn it this way, and you might feel like you need to join right here. You'll be off centered if you do that. So skip over this first, because that's part of your corner. We're actually going to stick our hook right in there to the next space. And then single, or I'm sorry, do our 3 double crochets, not a single crochet. Come on, Sarah, get it together. And then find our next space and slip stitch. So we're going to go ahead and just do the same thing we did over here. We're just doing half the corner and all the way up until we get to this corner. Okay guys, I am just getting ready to join up here at my top corner. So again, on the corners I like to do a single crochet because I just feel like it gives it more support. So pop our needle in there, or hook in there, and do a single crochet. And now we're ready to do the other half of our corner. So to recap, so we started up here. We went all the way over here to this corner, down, all the way to the right hand side. Then we started on this square just below it, doing the same thing and slip stitching in between. Then we go all the way down here. Then we joined over here to this square. And we went all the way up here. We joined this square, kept going straight, and now we're at the corner. Now we're going to do what we did over here. So we need to start up here. We're going to go in this direction to the corner, down the edge of the square, and then we're going to go in between, just like we did over here, join, and do this square and join it. So I'll show you as we go. And the edges are nice because all you got to do is, just like a granny square, you don't have to join anything. And like I said, this works with whether you have 4 squares or 400 squares. I don't know if anybody want to make a blanket that big, but you never know. But you get the same concept. So you just do this no matter how long this way your squares went or how wide they went this way. So I'm just going to continue going this direction, doing my corner, going down, and then going back here, and I will meet up again with you guys in a moment. Okay guys, I just wanted to come back on here a little sooner than I'd said. So we're down here, hitting it the right way. I'm down at this corner and I'm trying to work my way back here. I did want to say that when you're on an outside edge, like this is an edge, there's nothing else we're joining here right now, we do want to do our chain 2, like complete our corner fully. And then I'll just work along the bottom of this square really quickly here. Like I said, this is a really fast way to join your granny squares together. Saves a lot of time. You don't have to sit there with a needle and thread, and when you're done you'll only have 2 ends to weave in, the one you started with in the end. So that's a bonus. Okay, so I finished the other half. I don't know why I keep dropping my yarn. It's probably because the camera's on. I get nervous. Okay, so we're back down to this corner, just like we joined over here. So let me turn it this way and I'll zoom in because I want to show you guys again where we will join. If I can get my hands to cooperate this evening. And keeps dropping the yarn. Oh, for Pete's sake. There we go. Okay, so we're ready to join in the corner, and this is a pretty scrunched up corner because we've gotten everything joined into here. But just do the best you can. Turn it upside down, actually, that might help. The only bad thing I would say about this is if you're making a big blanket and you're doing this technique, you do have to shift your work a lot just to be able to get into it. So you can see where we joined all together kind of in here. You can do a couple of things. You can stick your hook in here and kind of join in between this, or you can go into the bigger gap up here, which is what I usually do, but if you think that looks too bunched up, you can certainly just go into here and do the same thing. So we'll just do that this time. So we're in a single crochet in the corner because it just kind of holds it together more secure. Okay, so now we are ready to do what we did over here. We're going to do our stitch across this while joining to the one above it. So see how we only have one corner done on this one? We're going to go ahead and finish our corner up. I am going to scream if I can't keep these yarn on the hook. Not really. I don't know, does anybody else have that problem? Comment below if you have. Okay, so now we're ready to join with a slip stitch up here, and then go back to this square and finish our next cluster. Slip stitch, and go ahead and continue till we get to the end of this corner. Okay, I'm back down here to the corner, just finishing it up. And we're not going to do any chain twos because we're joining with another corner. So again, I like to do what? Single crochet. You guys got it. So I single crochet to join. Like I said, if you feel like that's not enough space, you guys can, after you single crochet, you can always chain one, you know, like that, and then continue if you feel like it needs it. But usually I'm okay with just the single crochet, but I crochet rather loosely, or so I've been told. So if you're more of a tighter crocheter, I would probably do a chain one after you do the single crochet, but entirely up to you, your blanket. So we're just going to continue down to this corner, do that corner like normal, and I'll meet up with you again in just a moment. Okay guys, so I just made it to the corner. I did my chain two, and I'm going to finish this corner out like normal. And now we basically have our project joined. If you go back up here to where we started up here, went down, under, joined the bottom square, went across, slip stitching in between, all the way down and up, over, down, over, joined across. Anyway, you guys get the picture. So that's how you do it. We're on the edge, so once we finish this edging, I'm just going to continue all the way around here, joining in between these two squares again. I'll do a single crochet, and I will crochet across and up and do my corners like normal down here and here. And that is how you do the join as you go method. I hope you guys found this helpful. I'm sorry it was so long, but there's a lot to explain with this type of process. So if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button over on my YouTube channel. And you can also follow me on my social media pages. I am on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, all under boho, BOHO _stitchery. And I hope to see you guys there. Bye.